fish aren't the only abundant creatures in the ocean. It's also brimming with mysteries and strange discoveries. From a massive crack on the ocean floor to a message in a bottle, here are 20 of the strangest discoveries found in the depths of the sea. Number 20. Dark oxygen that might rewrite everything we know about Earth. Deep in the Pacific Ocean, nearly 13,000 feet below the surface, a remarkable discovery has rewritten some of our most fundamental ideas about the origins of life on Earth: dark oxygen. Now, what's the difference between dark oxygen and just oxygen? Well, the oxygen we're familiar with, produced by photosynthesis in plants and algae, can also be generated by metallic minerals on the ocean floor without any sunlight involved. This challenges long-held assumptions that sunlight-driven processes are essential for oxygen production. At these extraordinary depths, where sunlight can't penetrate, scientists found that metals in the ocean floor, such as manganese and iron, interact with seawater in a process called electrolysis, splitting water molecules to produce molecular oxygen. This process, which happens in complete darkness, has profound implications for our understanding of how life might have arisen on Earth. It suggests that life could have developed in environments previously considered inhospitable, places devoid of sunlight but rich in chemical energy. This opens the door to the possibility of life existing in similar conditions elsewhere in the universe. Number 19. New crack discovered under ocean floor. In 2013, scientists discovered a crack in the Earth's crust. Now, there are a lot of cracks on the planet's surface. This crack, however, discovered off the coast of Iberia, is so large that it could pull Europe and North America closer together and cause the Atlantic Ocean to vanish in about 220 million years. This startling geological phenomenon could reshape the Earth's future in ways few of us ever imagined, though, of course, not within our lifetimes. There are massive slabs of rock, known as tectonic plates, that make up the Earth's crust. These plates are constantly on the move, driven by forces deep within the planet. For hundreds of millions of years, the Atlantic Ocean has been slowly widening, with the plates carrying North America westward and Europe eastward. However, scientists have now found evidence suggesting this process may be reversing. The culprit? A massive crack, an embryonic subduction zone, forming off the southwest coast of Europe. In this region, the crust is beginning to crack and buckle, which could eventually lead to one plate being forced beneath another, a process known as subduction. It's a slow-motion collision that won't reach its climax for another couple 100 million years. Even so, it's an intimidating phenomenon to imagine. Number 18. Sharks that bite nuclear submarines. What you're looking at is a preserved cookie-cutter shark. They're quite tiny, but their appearance and their teeth should be enough to intimidate you. Although their name sounds adorable, be warned, because this little shark, known scientifically as Isistus brasiliensis, has a fearsome reputation that belies its small stature. Its unique feeding method involves biting out perfect cookie-sized chunks from its prey, leaving behind distinctive crater-like openings, hence its name. From the flesh of whales, dolphins, and even great white sharks to inanimate objects like underwater cables and sonar domes, nothing is safe from the cookie-cutter shark's vicious bite. In the 1970s, the U.S. Navy's nuclear submarines learned this the hard way. As these advanced vessels patrolled the ocean's depths, they began experiencing mysterious damage, leaking oil, severed cables, and compromised sonar equipment. You guessed it, the culprit was none other than the tiny cookie-cutter shark. These sharks targeted the soft rubber and plastic components of the submarines, sometimes forcing these mighty vessels back to port for repairs. Number 17. Mysterious metal spheres. Recent discoveries of mysterious metal spheres at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean initially sparked excitement and speculation, with some even suggesting that they might be evidence of extraterrestrial technology. However, this doesn't seem to be the case. It all began when the spheres were recovered by a team led by Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, who suggested they might be fragments of an interstellar meteorite, potentially containing alien technosignatures. However, further examination has shown that these metal spheres are composed primarily of iron, magnesium, and titanium, with a surprisingly low nickel content, a stark contrast to what would be expected if they were of extraterrestrial origin. In fact, their composition is consistent with terrestrial industrial byproducts, likely from pollution linked to activities such as fossil fuel combustion, mining, and metal refining. Since the 19th century, iron-rich spherules have been frequently found during deep-sea expeditions. These are generally understood to be either cosmic dust or remnants of human industrial processes, and there's no solid evidence linking them to any particular extraterrestrial event. Essentially, what some researchers had concluded as a sign of extraterrestrial activity on our planet turned out to be just man-made pollutants appearing in our oceans once again. Bummer. Number 16. Deep-sea fish that rapidly melts if brought to the surface. Deep beneath the waves, in one of the most extreme environments on Earth, scientists have discovered a remarkable new species of deep-sea fish that challenges everything we thought we knew about life in the ocean's depths. These creatures, known as the pink, purple, and blue Atacama snailfish, were found in the Atacama Trench, a chasm in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Chile and Peru that plunges to depths of over 24,600 feet. These fish are so perfectly adapted to the crushing pressure and near-freezing temperatures of the deep sea that if we try to bring one to the surface, it would rapidly melt into a gelatinous mass. This phenomenon occurs because their bodies are mainly composed of a squishy, gelatinous substance that can't withstand the significantly lower pressures and higher temperatures at the surface. In their natural habitat, these snailfish are apex predators, thriving in a world where few other fish can survive. Their bodies are adapted to an environment with pressures over 1,000 times greater than at sea level. Despite their soft and squishy appearance, they are remarkably active and well-fed, preying on the abundant invertebrates that inhabit the trench. Think about it this way: just as we can't survive the crushing pressure underwater, their bodies would also react negatively to the change in pressure here on the surface. Fortunately, technology allows us to study these creatures without removing them from their natural habitat. Number 15. Man who spent 93 days at the bottom of the Atlantic emerges 10 years younger. Did you know you can stop aging while staying here on our planet? Joe Dituri, also known as Dr. Deep Sea, was known for his 93-day stay at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, living inside a 592-foot underwater habitat. That in itself was a feat, but after his 93-day stay, the 55-year-old former U.S. Navy diver and biomedical engineer claimed that ever since he emerged, he felt lighter. No one imagined the truth behind this story. It turned out that he had become 10 years younger after staying underwater. This extraordinary transformation is attributed to a variety of physiological changes that occurred during his time underwater. Living in a high-pressure environment, Dituri experienced a significant increase in his body stem cell count, up by 1,000%, and a notable 20% growth in the length of his telomeres, which are the protective caps on the ends of chromosomes that naturally shorten with age. These changes collectively contributed to reversing his biological clock by about a decade. Dituri also saw improvements in his sleep patterns, with a 60% increase in the deep sleep he got, a crucial stage of sleep linked to physical recovery and overall health. The high-pressure environment of the underwater habitat likely mimicked some of the benefits of hyperbaric oxygen therapy, a treatment known for its regenerative effects on the body. Throughout his stay, Dituri kept himself busy with scientific research, teaching university classes remotely, and even entertaining school children through virtual sessions, making the most of his unique and isolated surroundings. I don't know about you, but staying underwater for 93 days in a submerged facility doesn't sound too bad. But what about you guys? Would you be able to stay isolated for 3 months? Let me know in the comments. Number 14. 70-year-old Albatross. Meet Wisdom, a Lyson albatross. She might not look remarkable, but this creature is actually the world's oldest known wild bird at an astonishing 70 years old. First banded by a biologist in 1956, Wisdom has spent decades soaring across the Pacific Ocean, returning each year to her nesting grounds on Midway Atoll in the remote North Pacific. Now, despite her age, Wisdom continues to hatch chicks, demonstrating that age is just a number when it comes to survival in the wild. In a world where most wild birds face countless threats like predators, food scarcity, and environmental hazards, Wisdom has not only survived but thrived over her long life. She has outlived several mates and successfully raised at least 35 chicks, making her a symbol of resilience and a beacon of hope for conservationists. Number 13. Neon-colored fish. In the remote archipelago of St. Paul's Rocks, located 600 miles off the coast of Brazil, a team of divers from the California Academy of Sciences came across a vibrant neon-colored fish unlike anything they'd ever seen. This fish was found 400 feet below the surface. Now, most creatures living at this depth look like they've jumped straight out of a nightmare. But this fish, strangely enough, is comparable to the colorful fish we see near the water's surface. Named Tosinoids Aphrodite after the Greek goddess of love and beauty, this creature is a striking mix of pink and yellow colors that seem almost out of place in the usual muted tones of the ocean's twilight zone. This neon creature is just a few inches long and is the first of its genus to be discovered in the Atlantic, as its relatives were previously known only in the Pacific. You see, this fish was so captivating that the divers were momentarily oblivious to the presence of a 6-gill shark swimming just above them. That's how mesmerized they were by this creature's colors. Who would have thought such a stunning fish would be hiding in the ocean's dark depths? Number 12. The hagfish, weird slime-spewing monsters. Deep beneath the ocean surface lives one of the strangest creatures you'll ever encounter, the hagfish. Often described as slime-spewing monsters, this ancient species has remained virtually unchanged for over 300 million years, making them some of the ocean's oldest inhabitants. But don't let their age fool you. Hagfish have some of the most bizarre and fascinating adaptations in the animal kingdom. You see, when threatened, hagfish can release copious amounts of mucus from slime glands running along their bodies. In mere seconds, this mucus can expand to create a cloud of thick, sticky slime that can clog the gills of any predator unlucky enough to take a bite. This defense mechanism is so effective that even sharks and other large predators think twice before attacking hagfish. This slime is made up of protein threads that are incredibly strong yet flexible, capable of stretching to lengths 10,000 times their original size. Scientists are studying this slime for potential uses in everything from eco-friendly packaging to bulletproof materials. But that's not where the weirdness ends. Hagfish have no jaws, just a pair of toothy plates they use to rasp at their food. They often feed by burrowing into the bodies of dead or dying animals, eating them from the inside out. Yikes! Hagfish are also remarkable for their ability to survive in some of the harshest environments on Earth. They can live in waters with little oxygen and are known to go months without eating. Their slow metabolism and hardy nature make them a subject of great interest to scientists studying survival mechanisms in extreme conditions. As unappealing as they are, they're one of the most fascinating creatures in our world's oceans. Number 11. World's largest deep-sea octopus nursery. In 2018, marine biologists found the world's largest deep-sea octopus nursery off the coast of California, near the Davidson Seamount, about 80 miles south of Monterey. This extraordinary find revealed thousands of octopuses nestled in the crevices of an extinct underwater volcano, 2 miles below the ocean's surface. This site, dubbed the Octopus Garden, is unlike anything scientists have seen before. You see, octopuses are typically solitary creatures, so discovering them in such large numbers, thousands of females, many brooding over their eggs, is both surprising and significant. The octopuses were found in a unique position, with their bodies inverted to shield their eggs. They were using the warmth from hydrothermal springs seeping up from the ocean floor to accelerate the development of their young. This warmth is crucial as it reduces the hatching time from what would be 5 to 8 years in colder waters to just under 2 years. This nursery continues to be the largest of its kind ever discovered and only the second deep-sea octopus nursery to be found, with the first located off the coast of Costa Rica. Number 10. The Holy Grail Shipwreck. The San Jose Galleon, often referred to as the Holy Grail of shipwrecks, is one of the most important underwater treasures ever discovered, and the most controversial. Sunk in 1708 during a fierce naval battle off the coast of Cartagena, Colombia, this Spanish galleon carried an enormous fortune estimated to be worth up to $20 billion today, including gold, silver, and emeralds intended for the Spanish crown. For centuries, the San Jose was lost to history, its exact location shrouded in mystery until it was finally discovered in 2015 by a team from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution. The shipwreck, lying at a depth of around 3,100 feet, has since become the center of an international legal and political battle over who rightfully owns the treasure. I mean, who wouldn't fight over a treasure trove? The Colombian government has claimed the wreck and its treasure, arguing it lies within their territorial waters. However, this has been contested by multiple parties, including Spain, which asserts that as the original owner, they have a rightful claim to the treasure. Additionally, a group of U.S. investors who claim to have located the wreck in the 1980s have also laid claim to a share of the riches. The indigenous Cara Nation from Bolivia has also staked a claim, arguing that their ancestors were forced to mine the valuable metals under brutal conditions. Thus, they're entitled to a portion of the treasure. Despite these claims, recent moves by the Colombian government have made it increasingly difficult for any private or foreign entity to claim a stake in the treasure. They've emphasized the shipwreck's cultural and historical significance and plan to raise it by 2026 under the hopes of preserving it as a heritage site rather than for commercial gain. To this day, the debate about the ownership of the wreck is fiercely ongoing. Number 9. For new species of walking sharks. In recent years, scientists have discovered 4 new species of walking sharks between Indonesia and Australia. These sharks belong to a group of small reef-dwelling sharks that have adapted to walk across the ocean floor using their pectoral fins. Just imagine a shark, not swimming through the depths, but leisurely strolling along the seabed, hunting for prey among the shallow reefs. Fascinating, right? The newly discovered species have nearly doubled the known count of walking sharks, bringing the total to 9. These sharks have evolved an incredible ability to use their fins to walk along the seafloor, which allows them to navigate the complex shallow reef systems where they live. This unique adaptation gives them a significant advantage in catching prey like crustaceans and mollusks, especially in environments where other sharks might struggle. What's even more fascinating is how these species have come to be. Research suggests that these walking sharks evolved after becoming geographically isolated from their closest relatives. Over millions of years, they developed unique characteristics that set them apart, such as their walking ability. This evolutionary process is a testament to the incredible adaptability of sharks, which have been dominating the oceans for over 400 million years. Despite their somewhat menacing name, these walking sharks are relatively small, averaging less than a meter in length, and pose no threat to humans. In fact, their ability to walk on their fins has made them quite popular. Number 8. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch might sound amazing, but in reality, it's quite the opposite. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is a massive vortex of floating plastic debris. The worst part is that it has grown to an alarming size, now covering an area 3 times larger than France. This patch, located between Hawaii and California, contains around 1.8 trillion pieces of plastic and weighs an estimated 79,000 metric tons. That's the equivalent of about 500 jumbo jets worth of trash floating in the ocean. Efforts to clean up this environmental catastrophe are ongoing. The Ocean Cleanup Project, spearheaded by Dutch inventor Boyan Slat, has deployed its latest technology, System 03, which recently removed 46,000 kilograms of plastic in just 1 month. This system is designed to capture larger debris, offering a glimmer of hope in the fight against ocean pollution. Despite these efforts, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch continues to grow, driven by the increasing amount of plastic waste entering the ocean each year. In time, this patch might lead to mankind's own demise. Number 7. World's Deepest Blue Hole. Beneath the serene waters of Mexico's Chetumal Bay lies the Tamja Blue Hole, the deepest known underwater sinkhole in the world. Plunging at least 1,380 feet below sea level, the Tamja Blue Hole is so deep that despite advanced efforts to measure its true extent, scientists have yet to reach the bottom. In fact, the latest exploration in December 2023 involved a sophisticated piece of equipment known as a CTD profiler, which was lowered into the dark, cold depths of the hole. However, even at 1,380 feet, the profiler hit an obstacle, or perhaps a ledge, and the true bottom remained elusive. The water layers within the hole showed different characteristics below specific depths, resembling the conditions of the nearby Caribbean Sea, suggesting a complex and possibly interconnected underwater system. What lies at the bottom? How deep does it actually go? These are questions that scientists are eager to answer. But for now, this blue hole remains one of the ocean's greatest mysteries. Number 6. The Weird Life of the Volcano Snail. Deep in the Indian Ocean, where temperatures soar and pressures would crush most creatures, lives a snail, so tough that many see it as nature's most resilient gastropod, the volcano snail, or scaly-foot gastropod. This incredible creature makes its home in one of the unlikeliest locations, underwater around hydrothermal vents, underwater geysers that spew out superheated water rich in minerals. These extreme conditions would spell doom for most, but the volcano snail thrives here thanks to its unique armor. This snail is the only known animal on Earth that incorporates iron into its exoskeleton, creating a shell that's not just tough, but magnetic. Yes, you heard that right. This snail's shell is a natural metal fortress, layered with iron sulfides, including pyrite, better known as fool's gold. Living at depths between about 1.5 to 1.8 miles beneath the ocean surface, the snail faces not just crushing pressure, but also predators like crabs that have evolved to break through tough shells. Yet, the scaly-foot gastropod's triple-layered armor, consisting of a calcified inner layer, an organic middle layer, and an iron-plated outer layer, has evolved to be nearly impenetrable. This iron shell dissipates energy, resists cracks, and prevents fractures, making it an almost perfect defense against the deep-sea dangers it faces. But there's more to this snail than just its incredible shell. It has a symbiotic relationship with bacteria that live inside its body. These bacteria convert the chemicals spewed out by the hydrothermal vents into energy, essentially feeding the snail in an environment where traditional food sources are scarce. This symbiosis is a marvel of evolution, allowing the snail to thrive in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. Sadly, despite its incredible adaptations, the scaly-foot gastropod is now endangered. The hydrothermal vents it calls home are rich in minerals, attracting deep-sea mining companies. The disruption caused by mining could wipe out these small but mighty creatures, whose total known habitat covers an area just about the size of 2 football fields. Conservationists are now racing against time to protect these unique ecosystems from destruction. Number 5. Mother squid spotted clutching dozens of giant eggs. Speaking of sea pods, here's another strange discovery from deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. At a staggering depth of over 1,800 feet, scientists have spotted a mysterious deep-sea squid clutching dozens of giant eggs. This encounter was captured on video by a remotely operated vehicle or ROV from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute or MBARI. The squid was found cradling around 30 to 40 eggs, each about twice the size of typical squid eggs, measuring approximately half an inch in diameter. Most squid species do not engage in such brooding behavior. Instead, they often leave their eggs to drift in the open ocean or attach them to the seafloor, minimizing their parental involvement. Yet, this deep-sea mother chose a different path. By carrying and protecting her eggs until they hatch, she dramatically increases the chances of her offspring surviving in the harsh, predator-filled environment of the deep ocean. Unfortunately, this dedication comes at a high cost. The mother squid will likely pass on after her eggs hatch, sacrificing herself to ensure the next generation thrives. Number 4. A creature straight out of a nightmare. You're looking at the Darth Vader isopod, one of the most mysterious-looking creatures underwater. This massive, unsettling sea cockroach was first discovered off the coast of Java, Indonesia, during the 2018 South Java Deep Sea Biodiversity Expedition. Growing up to 13 inches long, this new species is part of a group known as supergiant isopods, which are closely related to crustaceans like shrimp and crabs, although they look far more monstrous than their kin. These isopods are scavengers, roaming the ocean floor more than 4,000 feet below the surface, where they feast on the remains of dead marine life, a bizarre diet suited for their bizarre appearance. Number 3. Lost City. When you think of a lost city underwater, Atlantis probably comes to mind first. This one, however, isn't what you think it is. Instead of towering buildings made of gold and lost artifacts created by an old civilization, this city located deep in the Atlantic Ocean has been a paradise for extraordinary creatures for the last 120,000 years. Discovered in 2000, this hydrothermal field lies over 2,300 feet below the ocean surface on the Atlantis Massif, a massive underwater mountain near the mid-Atlantic ridge. This place is known as the Lost City. The Lost City is composed of towering white carbonate chimneys, some of which rise as high as 200 feet, resembling ancient ruins submerged in the deep sea. These chimneys have been continuously venting gas like hydrogen and methane for at least 120,000 years, making it the longest-lived venting environment known in the ocean. You would think that this environment wouldn't sustain life, yet it's a place where underwater organisms thrive. The microbes that inhabit the Lost City thrive in an environment rich in hydrogen and methane, with very little oxygen. These conditions are thought to be similar to those that might exist on other celestial bodies such as Jupiter's moon Europa or Saturn's moon Enceladus, suggesting that life could potentially exist beyond Earth in similar environments. Some scientists believe that conditions like those found at the Lost City could have been where life first began on Earth over 3.7 billion years ago. Number 2. 7,000-year-old ancient highway. Beneath the tranquil waters off the coast of Croatia, archaeologists have uncovered a 7,000-year-old stone road submerged and preserved under layers of sea mud. Spoiler alert, it's not Atlantis. Instead, this extraordinary discovery shows a time when the now sunken Neolithic settlement of Selene thrived as part of the mysterious Var culture. This ancient road, which once spanned about 13 feet in width, was constructed with meticulously stacked stone slabs. It's believed that this roadway linked the artificial island of Selene to the larger island of Korčula, forming a crucial part of the infrastructure that supported the maritime activities of the Var people. The discovery was made by researchers from the University of Zadar, who have been exploring the region's submerged secrets since 2021. The road's construction was a significant feat, especially considering the rising sea levels that eventually submerged the settlement. Yet, despite being underwater for millennia, the road and other remnants, such as stone walls and tools found at the site, have been remarkably well preserved, protected by the surrounding islands from harsh ocean currents and waves. Now it's time for today's topic. In early 2022, a man named Jack Carter was walking along the shores of Cannon Beach, Oregon, when he stumbled upon a bizarre, serpentine creature washed up on the sand. The creature, strange and unlike anything locals had ever seen, drew immediate attention. Jack, curious and intrigued, took photos and shared his find with local news outlets. The story quickly gained traction, and Jack made a bold statement during an interview, claiming he knew exactly what the creature was and that he would reveal its true nature in the coming weeks. However, just days before Jack was set to make his big reveal, he mysteriously disappeared without a trace. His phone was found abandoned, and the creature was nowhere to be seen. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some believed that Jack had been silenced, perhaps by the government to cover up the true nature of what he had found. Despite widespread speculation, no answers have ever surfaced and Jack's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. Number 1. Swimmers discover a message in a bottle that led to a beautiful reunion. Scott Gutterson, a 49-year-old seasoned freediver and former Navy pilot, was on one of his regular dives around Murray's Beach. It was a routine that had seen him recover all sorts of underwater curiosities over the years, but in March 2023, he made the most unforgettable discovery. Gutterson, who typically swims out to greet the local marine inhabitants like Big Blue, a friendly grouper, spotted what he initially thought was a log bobbing about 328 feet from shore. But as he approached, he realized it was a glass bottle encrusted with mussel shells. Inside was a message. It turns out that inside the bottle was a letter from a young girl named Vicky, written back in December 2020 when she was just 10 years old. Vicky's father, a Navy man, had tossed the bottle into the ocean off the coast of Newcastle as a kind of time capsule. The bottle had drifted for 88 days, covering over 300 kilometers before it found its way into Gutterson's hands. The letter detailed Vicky's hopes that whoever found her message would write back to her, and that's exactly what Gutterson did. Upon contacting the family, he discovered a web of coincidences that made the find even more remarkable. Not only had Gutterson and Vicky's father both served in the Navy, but they had crossed paths on numerous occasions without ever meeting. This unexpected connection led to plans for the two families to meet in person, where Gutterson returned the letter to Vicky. What an unforgettable find indeed. I guess there's still a lot more that we don't know about the ocean. If you know of other bizarre ocean discoveries, feel free to share them in the comments down below. Also, check out what's appearing on the screen right now.